They spent all their money on their uniforms and none on teaching them how to shoot.
They out in the middle of a hallway just as clear, and they ain't hitting. Look at it, they ain't hitting nothing. Are they throwing firecrackers at them?
Pop, pop, pop. Damn it.
Maybe when you're infected, aim is the first thing to go.
They're not infected. They're regular
I'm
ass
trying, man.
They're aiming. I just wanted to make sure that we had everyone in the room so I can make a special announcement for you. Now, you might have heard this already, but you know Valentine's Day, it's going to be here before you know it. Right now, up until February 14th, Valentine's Day, you'll get a $10 gift card. You're saying, man, Korey, if you really care about me, you have some variety up on that store. Well, we do, and we're getting more. You can see that we have the shirts, my favorite shirt, the black one with the white logo. Black cotton tee. We have Sidekick still up in there. Sidekick 3000, the colorful logo. Beanies. We got all kind of stuff. Since we got everything out the way right now, let's go ahead and get into some movies. Hey, did everybody see Maze Runner?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it was at the end of the first Maze Runner. The spoiler alert right here, but got out the maze.
We free.
Yeah, we free. Shit, we done. Everybody like, well, that's that. That was easy.
Psych.
There's a two.
Still running?
Yeah, they still ain't no maze no more. They just running now. And we had two, and people like, okay, I see what you're doing. You at the maze. Now you got to save the planet. A lot of people even forgot that they were still running. Yeah. Yes.
That's why it's so hilarious that, these kids have to come back and save the city. Kids?
Yeah. A lot of grown-ass men and women.
Some people thought, like, they said, man, American Assassin, I thought that was the third Maze Runner movie.
It looked like it.
They had Dylan O'Brien. Dylan O'Brien, he was doing action stuff in that movie. They said last time he was just a little boy running down some hallways. Mm-hmm. Now in this movie right here, he's jumping on trains and on the hood of cars, doing some Indiana Jones, James Bond shit. What is happening, man? What happened to that maze?
Why he ain't running no more?
Yeah, why they out in the field, out there in the valley?
Life is a maze.
Life is, you know what, you're right. At this point, maybe it's a metaphor. You know that's some bullshit. Yeah, everybody wants to say, man, shut the fuck up, man. Yeah.
You can't make that. I tried to roll with it, but something inside my body was like, no.
You can't make that work.
You're not standing, sir.
They're going everywhere but a maze. It don't even exist no more as far as these movies go. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer, and then we'll come back. Did everybody see this, by the way? Did I ask already? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shit, I'm in a maze in my own mind. Like, did I ask already? Where am I? Huh? What's going on? Korey. Hey. Hey, you know. And I guess you'll get a well-rounded review after this.
You can save your friends. Or you can save us all.
Now, some of y'all looking like, man, I done seen all these movies. I don't know what the fuck is happening. It's been too long. I can't tell what's going on with this trailer. I was the same thing. When I saw this trailer, I've seen all these movies. And I'm like, fuck, man, I don't remember any of this. Just to refresh you very quickly, in case you didn't pick it up from here, or you're not a Maze Runner super fan, you know, which those
all 7 of them.
Yeah, all 7 of them. Yeah, he's still in that maze. Yay! You know what's going on here? If you remember Dylan O'Brien, he was the kid that is kind of like the savior. He was the newbie to the island of kids who were immune to this disease that's going on in this post-apocalyptic dystopian society, and they put them on this island to help find a cure. You know, put these kids through some trials and tribulations, including this maze to keep them from leaving. But they got out, and the corporation that was trying to find this cure is they're like Spectre, you know, Wicked.
Was there no point when they put those letters together and somebody can go like, y'all don't want to rearrange this maybe?
Yeah,
no, this works.
Yeah, well, evil was taken.
Their branding agency is awful.
Are you sure this isn't too blatant? No, nobody.
Yeah, even when they said what it actually meant, it was like world crisis. I'm like, man, y'all could have done something else besides this.
Yeah, come on. But it was discovered in the second movie that, you know what, maybe this whole thing that they're doing, trying to find a cure, is not so bad, because that's when we saw the rest of the world in the second movie. And we thought, all right, you know what? This is a morality thing going on here. Maybe their attempts at trying to find a cure is the best that they're doing, even at the sacrifice of some of these kids. So with that second movie, it kind of ended on a cliffhanger where we saw more of the world. We saw more of the villains who we saw that they weren't completely all that evil, except for maybe one or two. And we saw some betrayals. Teresa in the movie, she joined she joined Wicked because she thought that their goals were much better than everybody else. Meanwhile, the rest of the ragtag group, they're still on the resistance. You know, they're still fighting Wicked. And in this particular movie, one of their own has been taken. They said, damn, they got the Asian. You know?
That's right, because I'd forgotten that the last one ended with them taking Minho or Minho.
Yeah.
Minho, yeah.
He a
Minho.
Yeah, you mean?
They kept pronouncing it differently.
Yeah,
like
they
sometimes
do.
they say Minho, and then some would say Minho.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got captured and taken off at the end of the last movie.
Yeah, and at this point, they like, shit, man, we had a quarter to fill with an Asian. We got to get that boy back. You know, when you have spent time with these movies, as I've gone through the recap, just to boil it down even more, the first one, they were trying to get out of a maze. The second movie, they were out, and you just hope that they didn't go back.
Right.
And now I'm here to tell you, put their asses back in that maze. Send them back. It's a terrible place, but it was so much more interesting, if you ask me. You know, I because when you have them out of the maze, you're taking away a lot of the things that made this movie stand apart from all of the other properties that are out there that are part of the young adult trend.
It leaves behind its core concept.
It really does.
As well as called The Maze Runner.
Yeah. I like, why do we...
You ain't in a maze no more.
Man, we got 3 movies. 2 of them don't have a maze in it. Shit, there's a rat still looking for some cheese. Where the maze at? When the YA craze started, I mean, even with some of the ones that were successful, you know, they all had the same thing going. They put it all out there. You know, it was always these young, rebellious teens in a dystopian future. They were scrappy, mostly white. And for some reason, they were always gorgeous.
Yeah.
They were always modeling.
Flawless. Like, they'll be getting, like, shooting other kids and getting blood all on their face, but my makeup and hair is still fabulous.
Flawless.
Yeah.
You're in a gladiator arena where you're killing one another.
Yeah.
No.
They would be running and stop to pose.
Yeah.
They were also, each one of these was in a society where they were sectioned off and labeled.
Yeah.
You're in this district, or you have this discipline.
Yeah, there was, you know, there was the nice rebuilt society and city, and then there was the hood.
Yeah. Basically.
With mutants and shit, you know. But yeah, man, and no matter that hood, that city that is so broken, torn apart, poverty ridden, somehow these kids would always, no matter how much they're on the run, they'd always find that hair salon. They'd always find that spa to go to.
Yeah.
They'd always have a makeover.
Yep.
They'd always have some wax, some waxing going on. Legs just be as bare and slick.
Somehow be ripped even though they're starving to death.
Homeless shredded.
Yeah. You know, but the thing is that they put it out there. There was nothing to really dig deep for. A government or higher force was coming after these kids for some survival reason, something that was helping society because of something that terrible happened to society before.
Right.
And this was the only way. You know, whether we had
the only way.
We need a cure. We just need people to be satisfied. You know, not being roused up. Maze Runner always had from the very beginning an air of mystery that they did not solve for you. You did not know what was happening.
Every morning when those doors open, the runners look for a way out. And no one has ever survived a night in the maze.
You know, and that was people like, wow, why?
Yeah,
what,
like-
what the fuck is that maze doing that in the first place?
Yeah, and like, I mean, and just to be so like anonymous with this movie, the guy starts off not even knowing his name. Like, he comes out of the ground and they're like, he's like, "Who are you?" "Man, I don't know."
Yeah, Dylan O'Brien is the main character. Because he's looking at it like, "Man, what's your name?" He's like, well, "Shit, that's a good question."
Tell me.
Yeah, and when we were watching the movie, like, where y'all parents at? you know, we were wondering what was going on. It was what are these robot scorpions? These robo scorpions in here? You know, it transcended the YA genre.
And I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, go ahead. No,
it had an extremely diverse cast. Like it didn't feel like a Hunger Games or Divergent where it was mainly all white. Like it started off with the black guy being the leader in the first one.
Right.
Yeah. And like you said, that was what I was saying. It's mostly white teens that are filling other worlds, as you see right here in Catching Fire and Divergent in the Hunger Games. But this right here, it was multicultural. It was science fiction. It was a Twilight Zone in this area. It was
horror.
Here. And it was horror in there too. That was the beauty of it, is that it mixed up all these genres to make this unique thing, and a genre that was starting to, that
Feel played out.
It was running a quick course. I ain't never seen a genre.
oversaturated.
A genre that was created and flickered out immediately.
Yeah. It figured out before the Hunger Games finished.
Yeah. It did, man.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about
Hunger
this
Games
third
was
one.
like, wait.
Yeah.
We gotta get these last 2 out. Wait, just
No one cares.
Which is why this, for me, is such a disappointment. I'm just going to say it right now. It is a huge disappointment because this one, it's working backwards. It started out standing out even more than the Hunger Games to me. Mm-hmm. And then after that, after they left the maze, it became what all the other YA properties were. And it started to become that at a time when all these other properties, even the Hunger Games, wasn't working in that area anymore. Mm-hmm. And then this showed up being those things, not being what the creative property that it promised before at all. It was almost impressive with this movie how it did what the first Maze Runner did, where it took different genres. It took the post-apocalyptic genre. It took science fiction. It took horror, and just made all of it just as generic as shit. And I'm talking about they took the most basic elements from all these things and didn't try to do anything with it. And this one right here, for example, the post-apocalyptic genre. And, you ain't seen nothing here that you ain't seen in anything else. You see them same ragged ass buildings, people wearing them Mad Max camping clothes with dust all over it. You got the city that was rebuilt but is walled off and is full of assholes. This is nothing that you haven't seen already.
It is funny that we reach this point now when you get to one of these bombed out cities, just kind of like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
It's par for the course.
Yeah, it's Detroit. That's fine.
I'm used to it. Yeah, exactly. Shit, I can live here. I'm all right. In the original Maze Runner, you had the Robo Scorpions. You had those creatures that
Grievers.
Grievers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You had Grievers, and that was cool. Never seen one of those before. Mm-hmm. Now I'm looking at this and they got man, we in the zombie apocalypse. We got cranks. No, bitch, they zombies, man.
Right.
It's
PG zombies too.
Yeah. And that's too bad because as generic as it is, the zombies are kind of one of the most exciting parts of it. What is this brother on?
It's not Austin.
Yeah, what shit are you on?
He's crumping.
My parents don't love me.
Yeah, shit, that ain't a zombie. That's Atlanta, right there. That motherfucker, you on that?
That dude asked me for change on 6th Street.
They're like, man, you shut our boy.
What set you claim, homie?
Hey, you in the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker. Come here. This is interesting. When I say it's exciting, it's exciting for this film. But again, it ain't nothing you ain't seen before. What you seen here,
They did it in the last one.
They did in the last one.
I remember. They did. You saw it in the last one, and when you saw it in the last one, they thought it was kind of cool that these zombies had vines growing from their mouths and that they were, these creatures that could still talk and kind of felt their own suffering. And it's like, well, if you ever played that game, The Last of Us, you've seen that there too.
For the most part, I would say it was better than the second one because they did seem like they were throwing everything at the wall because this is the last thing that we have. We got to make sure we go out on a good note.
Yeah.
Like when you say you were disappointed by this one, and I see that, but I only wasn't disappointed because the second one was such a drop.
So bad.
And I thought this didn't come near the first one, but it was a step up from the second one.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? And that's cool because I'm just holding it on how every element for me was very generic.
Did you see the first one after you saw the second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. I never saw it, and he gave it to me, and I saw it then. You know, because again, I mean, I hate to keep complaining, but it's just like,
Well, stop it.
Shut up! I know that's how much I don't want to like come down on this movie right here. I don't want to do it.
Hey man, this kid almost died to make this movie.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to do it, man. I'm almost like this brother right here. I'm like, man, I don't want to talk about your movie, but you making me do it. You know, because I look at like even the sci-fi elements in here. The sci-fi elements are the same thing, man. You know, when I watch that, they got you know, it's the city where they have these guys in, you know, the futuristic uniforms, military uniforms, and they're driving big ass futuristic drones, usually led by one asshole.
Littlefinger.
Who you know, who doesn't wear, he's not the one wearing the military uniform. He's not the one that's dressed up like the rest of the guys because he's the name actor here. Everybody knows him. In this case, it's Aidan Gillen.
Yeah.
And he's just evil. He just, no matter what how much compassion everybody else might have, he's the one for some reason just wants to kill everything.
He bothers me in almost everything he's in because he
got that rat ass mustache.
Because every character he plays is like an evil shithead that's really bad at convincing people he's not an evil shithead, and he says all these lines like this in everything he's in. And it's like, man, because there's the other person in charge of Wicked. Who's the actress?
Patricia Clarkson.
Like the way they handled her is like, I see where she's coming from.
Sure.
She's not a typical mustache twirling bad guy.
Right.
He is.
I feel like that's not his fault. I feel like that's the writing's fault because with her character, like there's some nuance there, so you can kind of see where she's coming from. His is just like, I'm burning it all down.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that douche ass haircut and that facial hair. Yeah. And even when he has those clothes on, I see him shopping like that. I have a discount card. Why you so evil, man? You just shopping.
I can't help it.
The whole thing with having a resistance as being led by Barry Pepper just kept taking me back to Battlefield Earth with every scene.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't seen either of the first two Maze Runners, and when he popped up, I was like, okay, it's the Battlefield Earth cinematic universe. I can roll with this.
Yeah, you know,
Barry Pepper and his man animal crew. Nice.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a picture of him because he had that man bun.
It looked like he just walked off the set of Battlefield Earth.
25 years later.
Yeah. Oh, there he is there. Looking like he just got a 6-pack of bud.
Johnny Goodboy.
Was that his name?
Yep, Johnny Goodboy.
Let's go hunt some black people. You know, this is I mean, I'm not trying to again be too hard on the movie because apparently a lot of people here are enjoying it. I'm even trying to position myself.
Being a sourpuss, man.
I'm trying to think like maybe.
Come on, brother, it's January.
Nah, man. I'm sorry because I keep trying. I'm like nah, because I'm looking at this and it's like this is for people who are fans of it, as I said, or for people who don't need it explained, or for people who just want to watch a dumb action film. There is such thing as a movie that moves a little too fast, because that's what this is. It's an action movie that just moves fast. I mean, these people in here are doing nothing but running their asses off.
It's called the Maze Runner.
It ain't no maze
We got
in
no
there.
maze.
Yeah, you know,
On the running.
we just down to running right now. Yeah, they are doing nothing but running their asses off in this movie, man. And there is no time for dramatic emotional setup. There is no time for.
You're absolutely right about that.
No, I mean they don't do anything to set up any part of the stories that means anything. This is the third chapter, the final chapter, and what they're doing here is not giving you anything to root for. They're not, for me, I'll say me, they're not giving me anything to root for. They're not making me feel the stakes are high. This is not the one where I'm thinking, okay, this is where we're going to have not only the biggest loss, but the biggest cheers, the biggest victories. There's none of that. It's just these people just running. And, you know, I give it to you. That's good on one end because it doesn't become too overdramatic, because the potential is there. Because something bad happens to these people, they will shed one tear and they are gone. They have some bad moments in here, and Dylan O'Brien was just like, just give me a moment. Go! You know, the
tear runs down their face.
Yeah. Shit, that was a moment I looked down at my phone and came back and they were gone. I was like, hey, wait a minute. You know, it's I don't get any. I'm just not getting any kind of story development that make the stakes high in what is supposed to be the final chapter for something.
And some of the physics here are quite laughable.
And don't get me, yeah. I'm gonna get into that in a minute because
That bus.
Yeah, that bus.
It's like, whoa.
That was some Walking Dead physics right there.
well, I would say that that's a set piece, and the set pieces in here I thought were fun. I mean, if you're gonna get into ridiculous action here. There's one scene with a bus. It's nothing but a theme park ride. You know,
it starts off with a great set piece.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. No, it does. But I don't mind those. They're fun. They're just kind of empty, and like you said, ridiculous for a movie that's supposed to be so dramatic. And they want to. I mean, they're trying to set up the last part here,
and be almost 2.5 hours.
That's another thing.
It is too long.
They are running, and I'm thinking the pace is great, but your pace is all that quick action is nothing if your movie's too long. This is over 2 hours long. It don't need that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good themes in here. I mean, it's not like this is something where it's not trying. Kaya Scodelario, she plays Teresa, and if you've seen these movies, you know that she was originally part of the group of kids on the island, the maze, and then all of a sudden she decides to join Wicked. And I thought that's a good setup because that's a more they're playing with morality right there.
Yeah,
Well,
I dug that.
because she joined Wicked because she felt like, listen, I don't like them, but
What we doing out here?
yeah, but right, this dude Miho, man, we can find another Asian. We're going to let that dude go. We have to save the world, and I thought that was a good place because these kids, they see her again. Now they're mostly adults, and they see her, and they don't know how to feel about it. And no, they do. They hate her.
Yeah, they're like, yo, she screwed you over. What are we doing here trying to help her,
bitch? They really don't like her. I'm not buying that she's this scientist. I just don't see it. But as far as how they make the audience feel about her, you don't hate her. And the same thing with Patricia Clarkson, who you brought up already, who was she was a clear villain in the first movie and kind of in the second movie, but in this one, again, you start to think, okay, y'all got an evil ass name, but I can kind of see what the point of this is. Maybe if it weren't for that name, I would actually.
It's like if somebody's like, we're starting a new corporation. It's called Umbrella. I don't think you should do that.
Because at first I was like, I totally get where Teresa's character's coming from.
Sure.
And then I was like, wait, the name of the organization is Wicked?
Yeah.
What are you doing, son?
They just dropped the whole thing. They let it go. So we have clear villains to go up against, and we just get right to the action. And we also need to get, man, we can't have these people thinking and distracted. We got a movie to entertain people with. So any character that gives you a moment of distraction while you're moralizing what's going on with them, they get them on out the way real quick so you don't have to deal with it. We can get back to the running.
They spent all their money on their uniforms and none on teaching them how to shoot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That stormtrooper training.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I said, you can see in this clip right here when these boys are running right here. I mean, they out in the middle of a hallway just as clear, and they ain't hitting. Look at it, they ain't hitting nothing. Are they throwing firecrackers at them?
Pop, pop, pop. Damn it.
Maybe when you're infected, aim is the first thing to go.
They're not infected. They're regular.
I'm trying, man. Their aim is. I even like the way the kids look confused. They're like, God damn, they can't hit shit.
They're like, should we run? Like, I feel like we can walk.
There's a point where a character does get shot, and he looks more surprised, like, oh shit, they actually hit me.
Which one of y'all shot me?
When they get to the big battle, the war at the end, I thought that was done pretty well.
It was
exciting. People were getting blown up left and right. But the shootouts themselves.
By that point, I was done because the action, there was just so much dumb action going on. Again, everything is boiled down to its most generic, basic level, or it's just some trope that we've seen over and over again in action movies that I really hate. And one of the tropes, I was looking at this because I said, man, I have a list of tropes for certain movies, including action, where I was like, if they hit that, that's bullshit. And in this
trifecta.
Yeah, they hit it. They hit it right here because one of the cliches that I hate is when the heroes are trapped in a building, like 20 stories up, and the only way out is through the window. What do you think happens next?
Any idea?
Oh, this.
Be funny if it just blew up when it hit the bottom.
Nope, we can't do that.
I always said it's doable. The other two guys were like, "What?" No, I'm glad we didn't go through with that. It's doable. Wait, what?
Yeah, they're like, no, wait, that's a nuclear warhead. What did that shit?
Mushroom cloud.
It's like 15 stories high.
That's a propane tank. Okay, now you got this. You can do multiple choice. There's a pool of water, or a canvas, or a bouncy castle,
Or they can fly.
Or they can fly. Or somebody comes by on a jet, or some kind of futuristic plane and that saves them from hitting the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Or it's like that scene in The Other Guys.
Yeah.
Well, one of them actually misses.
Which is what it would have been. Had they sprouted wings and flown off, it would have been more realistic than what happens.
The
after
Maze
this.
Flyers.
I'm not going to tell you what they land on or in, but I would say it's very convenient and very unrealistic.
You have to
That
know
would
that
not be out there.
No.
That from that height, you could hit the ocean and still go splat.
Yeah.
That's why people jump off of bridges, because when they hit the water, their legs break and they can't swim no more.
You could jump in an ocean of cotton candy from that height and break your neck.
Actually, it's a trampoline. They bounce all the way back up.
Back in there. Aiden's like, well, welcome back.
Yeah, the villains are waiting on, like, really?
When you start shooting and missing.
What do you think of our trampoline?
and he's like, and you still can't hit shit.
I tell you, the thing I found funnier than that jump and the missing bullets was how hard Giancarlo Esposito kept wanting to convince us that he was a Latino character.
Man,
Because, man, he was throwing that accent on so thick.
He said Hermano like 15
You
times in this
can have a
movie.
drinking game for how often he ends his sentences with comma, hermano.
I'm so glad
I want to live.
No. I'm so glad you said that, because I had that shit prepared. Because I noticed that. Because there's all this danger going on. That's another thing. I can't even find any kind of tense, dangerous shit in the movie, because his ass is always walking around, hey, hermano, hey. Hermano.
It's the lion's den, hermano.
Man. People are like, what the fuck is so funny, man?
We get it, Gus. You're a Latino. God damn.
He's like Speedy Gonzalez. Andale.
It really was. Yeah. I was like, yeah, man, enough already. It's like somebody who's actually not Latino, who's overcompensating to try to convince you.
I'm like, yeah. People don't even know they safe yet. They're like, well, this motherfucker's laughing. I guess we all right.
We good.
Yeah, hey, Armando, hey. You're like, y'all know he don't talk like that. I'm motherfucker like he's like Gus from Breaking Bad on his own product. This is some good shit. Dylan O'Brien, he can lead in the movie if a character has something to lead. I don't think he has anything. He's just running. I do like the character Newt, though. The character Newt, who's played by Thomas Brody Sangster. He's really good. And I would say, if there is any emotional anchor in the movie, it is him.
Yeah.
Because you like him. He harbors secrets. It's not too hard to figure out, but he harbors secrets. He's funny. He's the one that leads everybody into action with a little bit of humor. He's relatable. Certain things happen to him that have you concerned. You don't feel like that about any other character except for him.
Well, yeah, he's usually the one that's making the most sense out of everyone. Thomas is like, I got to do this for Teresa. And somebody else is like, no, we need to go do this. And he's like, y'all, we can do what we need to do, but let's chill out and think about this for a second. You're like, thank you, guy.
The most of the movie's not about trying to save the planet or save people. It's for a third movie. Even the motivation is flimsy. Trying to save Minho, as I was saying, and Minho, who's played by Ki-Hong Lee. That character is nothing. Like, you don't feel any reason to save him. You feel like whatever is going on in the world is worth trying to take care of instead of him.
I like him, but I don't feel like he takes place over the world. Like, everyone is like, we got to get him and fuck everything else. It's like, no.
I think that's a casualty of the movies coming out so far apart from each other.
Mm-hmm. I'll go ahead and wrap it up, because I know everybody likes this better than I do. So I'll just go ahead and give my different opinion right here. I think that this is a fine movie to watch as a straightforward action movie at home. It is the definition of a movie to watch at home, in my opinion, because it's nothing that we haven't seen before or done better. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm never asking if anybody to go out there and just recreate something. If you do, awesome. But, you know, there's a comfort level with watching things that we've seen over and over again. It's just that there's nothing new with this. But that's fine. It's just that with this one, it should be a little bit more because it's the third film that should have had a better finish and should probably live up to what the first movie promised. That's the problem with trilogies. I don't hate this movie at all. It's fun to watch, but as a rental, as a good solid rental.
I really dug this movie. I had a fun time watching it. I think just the short amount of time that you really don't have enough time to develop an emotional response or emotional connection with the characters here. I think that hurts it. And then also that this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. I think that hurts it as well. But I still think in the whole grand scheme of things, it's a fun, decent movie to watch. It's a matinee for me.
All right.
I find myself right in between you guys on this and agreeing with everything you've said. I think it comes down to are you a completist? Have you seen the first two and you say, hey, I got to see the last one so I know how it wraps up? Because by then, for sure, you should see it. And especially if you're somebody who saw that second one and thought, man, this took a dip. Well, it does finish a lot better than the last one does. If you're just coming into this cold, this is your first one, like with Gertz, because I think that's an interesting perspective that he has, one that we can't possibly have now.
That's true.
And to see that he could come in and enjoy it just as the action movie it is, not a great one, barely a good one, but still enough to where it's like, okay, I didn't feel like I got ripped off. It's enough for me to give it a low matinee.
All right, Gertz.
I think if you just go into it thinking, okay, it's a YA movie, let's see how it goes, I think you'll actually be kind of pleasantly surprised by it. At least I was, because I went into it expecting it to just kind of, I was expecting some Divergent shit.
Right.
And it's not that at all. I'd give it a matinee. I think it's a slightly above average action movie.
All right, well, there you go. I'm the asshole, hermano.
It's a different opinion. It's fine. I like the frame up there. You look like that Indian boy from Lion. The frame that we have on the movie thing.
Oh, I know. I was looking at those drawings. I'm like, okay, so who are they?
I mean, okay.
Like I can figure out who they are, but like I don't know.
Walter usually nails it.
Well, Walter, no, it's not his fault. Walter, he called me yesterday and he said, "Man, so I want to get back into drawing the caricatures for the movies, for the movie themes." He's like, "What should I do for this?" I'm like, man, I don't fucking know. Everybody's defined by their hair.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Either wearing some kind of like crazy jacket or they're defined by their hair. So I just said, man, just play with the hair. So we all just went to the cartoon salon. Yeah. I don't know, man. You're the Asian guy. Nobody got it. You kind of look cool like that.
Yeah.
You got Asian eyes, man.
I get the Asian guy.
I got
what's his name, the wicked woman, and then Martin being. But yours, I was like, all right, I think that's Dylan O'Brien, but I think that's the kid from Lion as well. So I don't know.
I got one of them Prince perms or a Jerry curl or something.
Not like other boys.
Yeah.
I like how Walter had the opportunity to do him, but made Gertz the woman instead.
I like the way you got that sperm in your hair from something about
Derek.